So in our last session we learnt about bug reporting and bug life cycle, and before that we also learned how to create test cases. So in this session, while in our past sessions we while creating test cases as well as bug reporting, the terminology come into picture, that was priority and severity. So basically these two terminology we used while creating a test cases, as well as while creating a bugs we use this terminology priority and severity. So we are going to learn about priority and severity in our today's session. Okay, so first of all, let's begin with priority. So what are the highlights of this session? What we will understand? We will understand what is priority, what is severity, what are the different types or levels of priority and severity. Then we will just follow our session with some of the examples of the permutation and combinations of these priorities and severities, which is basically usually asked in interviews. Okay, so this is what we are going to understand in this today's session. So what exactly priority is? So priority means the importance, okay, the importance which is given to fix the bug. So suppose you are raising a bug, which we just learned in our last session, that how to raise a bug. So when you are raising a bug, you have to decide a priority for that particular bug as well. So why we set this priority? We set this priority because from the priority level or priority type, the one who is going to work on that particular issue or particular bug will understand how soon he or she has to work on that issue. This is what priority means. Okay, so suppose when you create a bug and you raise it with a priority level as a high, in that case this particular issue means this needs to be fixed as soon as possible. This is what it means, because it is of high priority. So the developer will give importance to this particular bug enough than comparison or comparatively to the another bug who has a priority set as low. So when there will be 2 or 3 bugs, out of which one bug has a priority set as P1 or high, then and others have a priority P2 and P3, in that case the developer will give the more importance to fix the P1 or high priority bug at the first stage. Once the high priority bugs will be fixed, then the developer will pick up the P2 or medium priority or P3 or low priority bugs. Okay, so this statement concludes that priority is an importance. Okay, it is an importance which is given to the bug to fix or solve. So this is what all about priority. Priority is actually divided into 3 parts, or you can say there are 3 levels of priority. First level is considered as P1. We also called it as high priority. Second level is called as P2. We also called it as medium priority. And the last, that is third one, is called as P3, which is actually low priority. Okay, so these are the 3 priorities basically in the different bug reporting tools you are able to find, but it again varies on different bug reporting systems, but this is a common different labels of priority. Now moving to the next part, that is the severity. Then what is the severity? So severity, so what exactly severity is? So severity means the impact of that bug on the functionality of the application. So as well as you have to think about the business, the impact of that particular bug on business as well. So while considering those impact on the functionality as well as in business, we are tagging the different levels of severity. So what are the different levels of severity? So suppose first level of severity or first type of severity is blocker. We also called blocker as a showstopper. Okay, now the second one is considered as a critical severity is considered as a critical or high, and the third level of severity is medium, and the final one is called as low or trivial, okay, which has not that much of impact. So here I would like to explain you, suppose while accessing any application, you are just as a tester, you are testing any application, and while testing that application, let's consider that application as a previous application, which is a very known application, that is Amazon. So while testing that Amazon application, when you are trying to log in into that Amazon app, you are not able to log in. So what will be the severity for this particular bug? So when you will raise this bug, so when you will raise this bug, the severity for this bug will be blocker, or you can say it as a showstopper. Why? Because until and unless you are not able to log in into that application, you are not able to test it, okay. The other functionalities you are not able to explore and test. In that case, you are blocked. So the severity for this type of issues, this type of bugs, will be a blocker. Now suppose you are able to log in, but you are not able to add your product into the cart, okay, or after a certain interval of time you are not able to see the different products in that particular Amazon application. So these types of issues or these type of bugs will be considered as a high severity, because this all have an impact in the functionality, major impact or critical impact on the functionality of an application as well as on the business, okay. So this is why we can consider this type of issues as a critical or high severity. So this is all about basic idea of priority and severity, how we can set the priority and severity. Now moving to the next point, then we will see some of the examples, okay, of severity versus priority. So there were few examples on which we will work. So first examples which we are going to see is a high priority and high severity bug. So suppose these are the scenarios which is basically asked in interview. What they ask and how they asked, they ask something like this, that can you just give me an example of high severity and high priority bug? In that case, you have to explain, you have to just explain the interviewer with one example having high priority and high severity. So we will discuss that point here. So first example we are considering is of high priority and high severity. So what is an example here? Suppose there is an ATM machine, okay, and we are just aware about the ATM machine. So in that particular ATM machine there is a bug. What is that bug? Whenever user try to withdraw money from the same bank ATM for which he has holding the bank account, he is getting charge of ₹20 per transaction, which is invalid as per the bank policy, okay. How that is invalid? Because if you are a customer of the same bank and you are trying to make a transaction with the same bank ATM, it should not allow to charge any amount, okay. So this bug is high priority. We can set this bug as a high priority bug. Why? Because bank is charging ₹20 per transaction for own ATM, which is exactly opposite of the business logic. This is not a business logic. Business logic is something that if someone as a customer is doing a transaction from the same ATM, in that case it should not allow to charge any money for that, okay. And this bug will be considered as a high severity as well. Why? Because this bug needs to be resolved immediately, because thousands of users withdraw money per hour. So overall cost in terms of considering the functionality and the impact will be really very high. So this will be considered as a high priority and high severity bug. Now moving to the next bug, that is an example of high priority but low severity. High priority means what? Means this needs to be fixed as soon as possible. But low severity means the functionality is not getting that much impacted. You are able to use the functionality, but this needs to be fixed as early as possible. So there is an example. Let's try to understand this example. So here we are taking an example of yahoo.com. Everyone know, Yahoo, everyone know, and the logo of Yahoo is too much popular that anyone can understand from the logo that this is a yahoo.com. But suppose while updating that yahoo.com, by mistakenly the logo is misspelled. There is a problem in the logo. What is that issue? What is that problem? There is only one O which is missing. So exactly YAHOO is a correct logo name of a Yahoo, but that is by mistakenly updated as a YAHO.com. So at the end, when we will try to use yahoo.com, in that case we are able to use all the functionality of Yahoo. Nothing will none of the functionality will be impacted, but the logo, the brand which is actually displaying is incorrect. So in that case, this particular thing needs to be fixed as soon as possible, because this will somewhere somehow influencing the customers, the users of the application, that the logo is incorrect. So this is a high priority bug which needs to be fixed as soon as possible, but the severity is low because there is no impact in functionality. You as a user able to use all the functionality of Yahoo very easily without any problem. So this bug is high priority. Why? Yahoo.com is a company logo, and mistakenly the company logo needs to and by mistakenly the company logo is incorrect or buggy, which is updated. So this needs to be resolved on high priority to keep the consistency, to keep the brand. But this bug is low severity. Why? As it is just a spelling mistake. Okay, this will not impact anywhere in the functionality. So that is the reason the severity of this bug will be low. This is all about high priority and low severity bug. This examples you can give anywhere if someone is asking to you. Now moving to the next example, that is example of low priority and low severity. So this bug is not that much important to fix as soon as possible, and this bug is not going to impact anywhere in your functionality enough so that we are making this as a low priority and low severity. So let's take an example here. What is that example? So suppose we can talk about some of the well-known website portal. Here again we are using yahoo.com. So suppose while updating the website, there is a mistake in the content, somewhere in the content. Okay, let's take an example of maybe terms and conditions. Okay, so in entire terms and conditions, suppose there is a spelling mistake of terms is by mistakenly updated as a terms and conditions. So S is actually missing there. So this is actually considered as a low priority. Why? Because very less people have their eye on that terms and term and terms. That is a grammatical mistake somewhere. So we can keep it as a low priority because this will not impact the brand, as well as there is no impact in the functionality. So it's fine, it won't impact much and user can still use the website. There will be no problem with that. So in that case we can mark it as a low priority and low severity bug. Now moving to the next point. So let's consider an example of a low priority. So priority is low means it's not important to fix this issue as soon as possible. We can hold and we can fix it at a later stage. So this is what low priority. But high severity means the impact of this bug is really very major in terms of functionality. So what is an example? So suppose the best example is, let's think that there is a banking application who is giving an interest of rupees to every 1000 rupees. But when they are giving that interest, they are giving this interest at the last day of the year. At the year end, they are giving 2 rupees of interest on every 1000 rupees. Means on the last day of year, that is 31st of December, the bank will deposit 2 rupees on every every 1000 rupees. Now bank found a bug. Bank realized that 2 rupees application, in instead of 2 rupees, there is an coding error, or there is a problem because of which 4 rupees will be credited as an interest for every 1000 rupees in account. Means due to this bug interest, there is a bug in the interest calculation, and which leads to be a double amount credit in the customer's account. But when it will be credited, it will be credited on 31st, when this bug will come into picture, when this bug will impact the functionality. This bug will actually impact the functionality on 31st of the December, 31st of the last month of the year, but before that it is not going to impact. So by this way, this is actually a major high severity bug. But why we are considering it as a low priority? So suppose, let's consider the current month. So current month is actually August, and this bug is going to impact in December. So we have enough time, we have around 3 to 4 months of time to fix this bug, which is not going to impact in the system until unless December came. So that is the reason we have enough time to fix this. So we can keep this issue as a low priority, but the severity of this bug will be high. So this example will illustrate as example of low priority and high severity. So this is all about the different permutation and combinations of priorities and severities, which basically asked in interview. Okay, so this is what we learned today about priority and severity. So what we will do, we will in next session we will just explore more or enough about the different types of maybe different examples of priority or severity, or after that we will also focus on different defect life cycles. This is all about today's session.